We have already heard about
Hello, nothing.
heritage being the basic theme for our cultural cooperation along Transromanica, about its study and about its interpretation. Now I would like to emphasize two more very important aspects that play a crucial role within Transromanica. One is the pan-European and even international exchange, and the other one is involvement of young people. And I would like to discuss this with Hannelore Pepke, who is one of the founders and the vice president of the International Center for Cultural Heritage Studies of Charolais-Brionnais in the French region of Burgundy-Franche-Comté. Welcome, Hannelore. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you very much, Christine. It's great for me to have this conversation with you and to contribute, I hope so, to the success of the Transromanica Day.
I'm very, very sure. Thank you, Hannelore. So earlier today, we heard about the importance of encouraging young scientific professionals to engage in cultural heritage research. What do you think is the value of getting young people enthusiastic about the Romanesque, and how can exchange opportunities contribute to that?
Oh, well, it's an extremely important value. The young people of today are the managers of the future. The Romanesque period was one of the essential moments in the historic process of the construction of a common European culture, and it was the first of these moments extending this common culture as much outside what had been the borders of the Roman Empire as inside. At present, we're living in a period of strong national and populist movements threatening the cohesion of Europe, not only in its institutions, and of appetites of power more or less outside Europe working to minimize its influence. The Romanesque heritage is an excellent area of cooperation, with almost 1,000 years of distance, which makes it easy to work on it together. It has left us sites that are landmarks, that must absolutely be preserved as such, orientation points in time, in space, and in the understanding of the past societies. A perfect training ground for analyzing more recent phenomena and less consensual ones. Furthermore, the Romanesque plays an important role in tourism, and as such it is, directly and indirectly, an essential economic resource. Working on the Romanesque with its long history, its initial importance, the hard times it went through, and all the present efforts that are made to preserve and enhance it, is a perfect school for the understanding of any society and for its management. You cannot drive a car without a rear view mirror. Working on the Romanesque can teach young people to drive, to manage the present with a cultural rear view mirror. And it gives them the very satisfying feeling of doing something really useful, not just for some credit in their studies. Exchange opportunities can contribute to that because they give the participants an opportunity to look at things literally from a different point, even inside the Romanesque field. It is not the same it is not the same to work on a Romanesque church in Magdeburg or near Cluny, in Alba Iulia, or on the way to Santiago de Compostela in Spain.
Yeah, okay. So this is, so you're saying that we can learn from the past, that the young people who are determining our future can learn from the past and can learn from each other for what they are doing and what they are developing for the next years to come. Now with your Center for
Even later, they will be they will be in charge of high responsibilities for some of them. For instance, our first Polish students, many of them have become important people in their country. And I think the Romanesque is really a perfect study and teaching field to develop skills that can be used in much more general ways on other subjects.
Yeah, so you already mentioned the Polish students, which already leads us to my next question. With your Center for Cultural Heritage Studies, you have more than 30 years of experience with an international exchange program for students of architecture all over the world. Can you tell us what you're doing and how both the students and your region are benefiting from these projects?
Indeed, we've been welcoming students of architecture from countries other than France every year since 1990, except for 2020 because of the pandemic. Our first partners were Polish from Gdańsk Technical University until 1993, then Germans from Weimar for 14 years. In the last decade and a half, we've been working and go on working regularly with partner universities in Slovakia and Hungary, these both thanks to the Transromanica network. Otherwise, maybe we would never have met them.
Yeah.
And for shorter periods, we've been working 1, 2, 4, 8 years with partners from Portugal, Brazil, and Japan. And in 2019, also for the first time from China, which we hope to continue, if possible, already this year, otherwise in 2022. In our partner universities, students of architecture have to learn how to make an inventory of an edifice, which is rarely the case in France, which means measuring it in detail and drawing floor plans and plans on other levels, facades and longitudinal and cross sections, and also interesting details. In the beginning, all the measuring was done by hand. In the last 2 decades, digital measuring instruments have become more and more important. The Hungarian partner university in Budapest even invested the considerable amount of the equivalent of 30,000 euros into a special 3D laser for the work in the former Abbey Church of Tournus. The final results of this work are extremely precious. This documentation is used for restoration work when needed, sometimes very quickly. I remember the measuring of former St. Nazarius Church in the little town of Bourbon-Lancy, where the bell tower was struck by lightning just 1 week after the end of the measuring. The mayor was very happy not to have to pay especially for this kind of preparatory work for the restoration, especially as it would have been much more dangerous than before the lightning damage. For the professors coming with their students and for other scholars interested in Romanesque art and architecture, the drawings are a very precious documentation too. The Japanese professor, Mr. Nishida from Kyoto, for instance, had been doing some measuring beforehand, but only floor plans for lack of technical support, which we were proud and happy to furnish in order to do the higher levels. There are also PhD dissertations undertaken in the context of our work, and the documentation is used in tourism to conceive visitor information material. Recently, the CEP has equipped over 100 churches and chapels in the Cluny region with this kind of things. In addition to the direct interest of the work, we also offer the students a cultural program with excursions, tasting of Burgundy wine, and other regional products, initiating them to French culture and food in general, which is always very much appreciated.
Yeah, so it's really a big set of advantages that come along with this project. So we have of course the educational dimension of it. We also have benefits when it comes to preservation of buildings. We have touristic, economic benefits coming from that, and of course also the cultural values that are being exchanged. The habits, meeting together, doing something together, getting to know each other, all these kind of things are coming together in this project with the students of architecture. And yeah, Hannelore, this is thank you so much for sharing this with us. I've been to Saint Christophe to visit you at the CEP quite a couple of times already, but I never actually made it to come when one of these projects are running. So for my next trip to Burgundy, I will definitely try to find time period when you are working with the students, because I'm really interested in seeing this. So, Hannelore.
That's an excellent idea, and we are looking forward to your coming back and joining in this international atmosphere. Personally, I have very beautiful souvenirs of great moments shared with the students and their professors, and sometimes also having them meet other people in Burgundy, other researchers. Would be able to talk about it much longer about all this, but the best thing is indeed to come on the spot to try by yourself. And I also invite people of the other partner institutions of Transromanica to come to Burgundy or make a stop over. It's always been a transit region since the Neolithic. And now, as all these little chapels and churches between Mâcon, Cluny, Tournu, and in the surroundings have been equipped with the information material in French, in English, and in German, I think it can give them an idea of the incredible variety of Romanesque art you can even find on such a small territory. And I've been delighted to get a deeper insight into the Romanesque of Saxony-Anhalt 2 years ago when we met in Magdeburg and when we saw so many beautiful and interesting things. And I do very much hope being able to do the same on other destinations within our common network.
Yeah, that's really what's also my great pleasure in working with Transromanica, to travel to the places, to get to know the people, to get to know the cultural heritage, and to do something together, really. Thank you so much, Hannelore, for taking your time to talking to me today. Yes?
My pleasure. Just one last information and invitation. This summer, for the first time, we will organize, it's 99.5% sure, an exhibition of contemporary art in 12 churches and chapels, Romanesque churches and chapels, of course, in the Brionnais area and its surroundings, with a new partner in Belgium, an association organizing contemporary art events. So there's one more reason, from the 19th of June to the 19th of September to come and have a look what can be done in this field.
We will definitely mark this.
Thank you for giving me the time to announce that.
Well, thank you.
You should.
Make sure to have it
You'll be invited
down.
to the inauguration.
Thank you so much, Hannelore. Thanks a lot.
Welcome, my pleasure. And warmest greetings to all the others.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
En 2018, TF1 s'est intéressé à l'inventaire architectural.
Des étudiants en architecture venus de Hongrie réalisent des croquis pour donner une image globale du monument.
C'est pratiquement du pierre à pierre, ça c'est l'habillage du monument. Et moi pour ma part, depuis des années que je vois ce travail de base, j'ai l'impression que les étudiants reconstruisent l'église.
Le numérique aussi vient renforcer ce travail d'archive. Ce scanner haute définition mesure l'édifice sous toutes ses coutures. Au total, 500 bénévoles ont réalisé l'inventaire de 120 églises romanes en Bourgogne du Sud, une tâche titanesque.